Lord. Vroom. It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Thursday, May 29th, AD 2025. We're having a fun... Oh, let me raid the stream. Oh, no, how do I do that? Let me come over here. Set the raid. The Hake report. Set the raid over there. And see if anybody gets raided. Over to the Hake report. We'll see. We'll see. Come on. Here, let me do this. Go to live. We'll see what happens. I should be live on pilled.net. I'll see if it raids me over there. I'm live on punchy.tv/Hake and various platforms. Let me see. Goodness. Oh, weird. It's way over. Again. Oh, just this center is... This center has moved. Somebody moved this sticker. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, this sticker would push me over here, which is off center. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I'm live on Facebook. Nobody cares about Facebook. YouTube is where it is. And then a few people on Pilled and D-Live. Several on rumble.com/The Hake Report. And what's up, T-Fly Monkey, Southern Skies, Jen Mole. Nope, it didn't raid. It didn't raid me. It didn't raid me over there. Pilled.net. It doesn't work because Pilled will raid you right away to some other platform. As soon as it won't let me raid, okay? It won't let me raid because I have to be live already before his live ends, and that's impossible. Okay, that's why. That's why it doesn't work. Pilled.net viewers. Pilled.net/The Hake Report. Okay. Let me double check to make sure I'm live on all these platforms. I will be getting to your calls. Some of you guys already on hold. It's very nice. I appreciate it. I will get to your super chats. If you'd like to super chat, buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Let me pull this. Whatever. Punchy.tv/Hake. Let me refresh that. Let me refresh it so that I can see you guys' chats, your chats. Because we're constantly making improvements and constantly repairing issues, okay? Some serious mess going on in the world. Are you fit? Are you getting fit? Are you getting fat? There's a whole lot of fear-mongering going on about, for example, the climate, for example, these diseases that are coming, for example, defunding of this or that. Good morning, Jim in Alaska. Faithful viewer over there on Pilled. What's up, Tyrant? Wrecked. Nice to see you, man. Goodness gracious. I'm glad that I am the only person who keeps the door open, which heats up the thermostat, and that kicks the AC on. Much needed AC, and I can feel it already. That's nice. That is nice. Nice shirt today, says Aussie Lisa. Thank you. Yeah, I'm wearing my dinosaur shirt. Okay, let's see here. Wow, what is that? That's not the sun, is it? Okay. Ring. Interesting. let's get going over here. I want to get set up over here. Like I said, they are. What was notable to me in Hake News was the fear mongering and the undermining of doing the right thing. Fear mongering about doing the right thing, which is cutting a lot of this spending on, for example, like DEI. They think that if you cut spending on DEI, you're going to make it worse for STEM. We're not going to be good in STEM. You know what STEM is? Science, technology, engineering, and math. Pfft. Yeah, okay. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is real important to advance STEM. I was listening to Joel Friday TV yesterday. I recommend it. I know some of you guys are still sour grapes about how he treated beautiful Pete. Rest in peace. But that's no excuse. You're missing out on some quality content from Joel Friday TV. Is he scheduled? Let me see if I can set the redirect. But he was showing this video of these gals talking nonsense, talking mess about like, oh, since they let women into education, women have surpassed men. And Joel's like, I suppose that could be true. I'm not sure I believe that. And, you know, when you look at how the girl of the family is, I talk about this all the time, compared to how the boy of the family is, oftentimes the boy is more of a misfit, at least outwardly speaking, whereas the girl fits right into the degenerate society. But she's also socially more, seemingly well adjusted, whatever that means. And she more of a nerd because school is set up for girls now. It's not set up for boys in various ways. Sit still. Take these drugs because you can't sit still. They got rid of recess in high school. Did the high schoolers used to get to play at recess? Because, you know, in junior high, a big part of the fun at school was before school, you get up there early so you can play. You know, around 9-ish, 2 or 9:30 or so, you have like morning recess. You get to play. After lunch, you eat your lunch fast and you go outside and play. And then after school, you may play some more. So you're playing, getting fit, getting your exercise, moving, and you're meant to move. Boys especially, apparently, I guess. And then now they're making everybody sit still. What a mess. So they're turning boys into girls. Pete is happy and thriving, says Joel Friday TV. And so, yeah, girls look like they're doing better. But also, as the blacks like to point out, women are the primary recipients, and they say white women are the primary recipients of this thing called affirmative action. And we have this thing of this decades trending thing called grade inflation, where everybody's passing, but nobody's really doing excellent. Some people are doing excellent, including even the girls. Some of them. Like Stars? What's that gal's name whom I had on the show? It's liberal. Indian, I think, maybe, or something. I'm not sure. Stars. What? Stardust. Yeah, Stardust. I think she goes by Star now. I don't know. But she looks and seems like conscientious. You know, the girls are conscientious. So she did, you know, fine in school. She looks like. You know, she made a nice documentary thing that I was impressed with. I'm pretty easily impressed, but it was good. But overall, like the excellence, it's not there. But they pretend, like, this girl pretends like, oh, they surpassed the men. Well, the men have been really subdued and oppressed and turned into victims and pathetic, and it's a mess in many ways. That doesn't mean they've surpassed men. It's just, as JLP says, no such thing as strong women. It's just weak men. Even poor Elon Musk, as excellent as he seems in some ways, just a mess, a misfit. I guess that's been the case a lot. A lot. But they're propping up women is just turning society more girly. And it's affecting everybody. Is Hake a strong woman or a weak man? A spectacle emoji looking intently. Asks Clayton. Clayton. I don't want to dox his whole name. So, please spare me with your fear-mongering. They're all on drugs. They're promoting drugs. They're promoting LGBTIQ. They're promoting anti-racism stuff. They're promoting all these fake things. You have kids who are climate anxious. Climate anxious. That's evil of them to push the fear on kids of the climate. And there are people on Commie Nonsense Network, for example, this doctor who's maybe Indian or something, Not when I say Indian nowadays, I mean India Indian. You hardly hear about the American Indians. They've been in major decline. And he's pushing fear of the avian flu, the bird flu. The bird flu, which has infected 70 adult or people, killed one, according to the reports, if you believe it. And so Moderna was given by the government like $560 billion, a $560 billion contract to come up with a vaccine for the bird flu. Moderna. Even the pharmaceutical companies aren't excellent anymore. And part of the thing is that the Trump administration supposedly doesn't like or trust the mRNA vax, even though Trump did warp speed to make a messenger RNA. And I remember RNA is ribonucleic acid. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Don't ask me what that is, but DNA, people are all about genetics and DNA and stuff like that. Like they know what they're talking about. And they don't. Most of us, we. But the mRNA vax changes your genes, they say. What a mess. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to get to your calls and your super chats and perhaps some stories, maybe even a fitness story. I didn't put it into my my blog post this morning. So we'll see if we want to go on an adventure into Instagram. Instagram is a dangerous place, devilish, satanic, because it's all about self in many ways. It's terrible. It's making the girls insecure because they see all these pretty girls, and they're just turning their bodies into disgusting and faces into disgusting messes, trying to fix them. I relate, young ladies. I relate. I've done kind of like the opposite. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on. It's 15 minutes in, almost, with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. Yep, and like Aussie Lisa stated, nice shirt today, Hake. If you look intently, you can see the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are real. They're on my shirt. Dinosaur bones, anyway. Stegosaurus, maybe, or one of that thing with the big old things on its back, fins. I don't know. Raptor. Nice. Whatever. Okay, I would like to get to calls to start off. 1-888-775-3773. Hayden in Texas is on the line over here. Hayden, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
Hey, how are you, Hake?
All right, how are you?
Doing good.
Nice.
But before I get
doing
into
good in the world or doing well in terms
doing
of
well.
health?
Because nothing's good. All is well, though.
Right. Some stuff can be good. If you're doing good, that means you're doing God's will. You're doing good.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
I prefer well, though. You did make a good point, though.
Yeah. For sure.
Before I get into what I called in for, can I respond to Ronnie's weak super chat from yesterday?
Yeah. Go ahead. Ronnie from Ohio said, "You guys who have your black fatigue, you can go back. Go back to America if you don't like being in America." Where is it?
Yeah. My response to that is, I'm not giving up on my country, not his country, my country. Your country, Hake, not his country.
Wow. So you don't think that it's Ronnie in Ohio's country? What if he's descended from the ADOS or whatever they're called?
Well, so your caller Jeff from Louisiana hit it home yesterday. He was 100% correct. He's a hyphenated American. All they do is whine and complain about, America and stuff. He's that super chat was him deflecting, just like the rest of the non-white callers do. So Jeff in Louisiana hit it home yesterday. They're hyphenated Americans. They don't fit in with American society, and they're trying their best to blend in and just whine and complain about everything. So that's my response to his super chat.
Do you have you heard him referring to himself as an African American?
I believe I've heard all your non-white callers refer to themselves as that.
Really? I don't know if I'll have to ask Ronnie if he considers himself African American.
I would almost promise you he would, but as soon as he calls in, he'll deny it just to make himself seem like a standout. But I mean, I would almost promise you he does.
I don't think that he does. I've given him too much credit before. But
right.
I don't think that he does. I remember I told you, he was just joking about don't interrupt a black man speaking. He wasn't joking.
See?
So you have been right about him in the past, and I acknowledge that. But I don't think he thinks of himself as an African American. Now I think he does really fall for the black thing and the racism thing. I know that he falls for. So you're not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
I think of him as an American. I just think of him as a misguided American. That's what I think of Ronnie.
He sounds like just like every single one of your non-white callers.
He falls for Obama, falls against Trump, and so I can't really take away from your point at root.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
He speaks the same language as all the rest of the non-white callers do. That's my point. And it wouldn't surprise me a bit if he did identify with that whole, hyphenated American, because the majority of them all do. Right. So you have to stereotype when it comes to that.
Yeah, stereotypes are valid. They are valid. Oftentimes, more often than not, actually.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I just wanted to address that. I'm a part of the YouTube Newsmax community thing. I subscribe to them.
Oh, okay.
And I saw they posted about Trump is already investigating the fair 2020 election that we like to refer to on your show.
Right. He's investigating that. Good for him. He should, honestly.
And also who was controlling the auto pen, meaning who was behind the Biden administration. And also the cocaine found in the White House back in 2024.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
I did hear about that.
Big stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had heard about that yet. Or
I didn't know about
it yet.
I knew about the cocaine in the White House, and I've heard him. I mean, I've seen his Truth Social quotes from his Truth Social posts about the auto pen. Biden signing, Biden, who didn't seem to be quite with it, supposedly signing these pardons and these bills into law. And he wasn't totally with it, so who was signing for him? This auto pen thing is like an automatic thing that somebody else can do on his behalf if he gives approval. But can a mentally incapacitated man, if he was that, consent? I don't know. It's kind of like, can a girl who's inebriated consent? So I don't know, man. Interesting.
Well, yeah, I call that administration the Biden administration, meaning Obama-Biden administration.
Yeah. You know, what I like that Trump is doing, that you told me that I hadn't heard that he's doing, is looking into the election, the 2020 election, because that is something that I really respect him and others for their refusal to let that issue go. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm tired of that issue. Well, then don't pay attention to it, because I'm not really tired of it, because I don't really pay much attention to it. I'm like, yeah, it seemed like shenanigans. But it was the most secure in history, according to the CISA. And, which is sort of a laughable statement. But but I love boomers for that reason, that they don't let stuff go. And it's not that he's angry or stubborn. He's just holding to what he sees is right, and I like that.
Well, he's sort of entitled to it almost.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you do remember this, they said, "Oh my gosh, Joe Biden, he got more black votes than Obama." Now, how is that possible? You know?
Oh, that is possible. You know why? Because they did those shenanigans where every idiot can vote. They make it super easy because of the China virus. They had mail-in votes. You didn't even have to show up to a particular precinct. You could go to any old.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you could go to any old place. So both Biden and Trump got way more votes than ever because they made it so easy for any idiot to vote. Shout out to the idiots, fellow idiots. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to see what comes out. I mean, those three are huge stories.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm really glad they are.
I honestly don't have high hopes for any outcome, but I like to hear that he's doing it. You know, I like to hear that he's doing it.
I hope we do get outcomes though.
That would be nice. That would be lovely.
Awesome.
You know, like Doge is Doge. People have made the point, and I credit them for it, that Doge was investigating and getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. But more than one person, boomer level, clear thinking people. I'm giving a lot of credit to boomers right now. One of them is Gen X, but maybe two of them. Maybe they're both Gen X. But where are the arrests? People should be arrested for this waste, fraud, and abuse. You know, some of this stuff is
we all voted for
gotta be kind of illegal. You know, but I honestly, I'm so used to politicians getting away with everything, and not going to jail, that I don't expect them to go to jail. And honestly, I don't really care if they go to jail, but it would be so refreshing to see that. It would be like a renewed hope for real law and real order to see people
Right.
go into jail who've been protected because they're mainstream. So
Well, yeah, because they're corrupt. But
yeah,
see,
yeah.
I'm different than that. It really does matter to me that they are
Nice.
arrested and they go to jail.
Yeah.
It really does matter. I mean, that is probably what the top 2-3 things I voted for Trump to do. So I mean,
were you one of the people who kind of held it against Trump that he didn't follow through fully and investigate Hillary and put her in jail?
I don't care. So I think she's probably like the low. I know she's guilty. I know she's guilty of something.
Okay.
But I mean, as far as him going after politics, I think she's pretty low down on the list, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Pretty low down on the list.
Yeah, she's not doing much damage today. Like
Right.
all she can do is yap and make more money and be.
I think there's much more corrupt than Hillary Clinton, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if or what she's ever done wrong other than be a lying, evil woman.
Right.
I just don't know, nor
She
do I
is
really
corrupt.
care. Yeah, she does seem corrupt. Like she just seems so sleazy. And there is a cleverness that politicians who are that rich and powerful can do to make it. Obama was good at this. I don't know if it was Obama himself or his team. They were good at coming up with fake excuses, legal loopholes to do wrong to the country.
Right.
Yeah, and people fell for it. He leaned hard into the black thing. Oh, and the people leaned hard into, oh, he's black, let's not impeach him. Oh, he's black, let's not stop him. Oh, he's black, this is so historic. Including the rhinos. So that's a shame.
Exactly.
That's one of the reasons I love Trump and Joe Arpaio for looking into his birth certificate thing. It's such a boomer issue, and older than boomer too. But it's so, I love it about them. So I applaud your idealism, man.
Yeah, I mean, so it kind of gets under, like, I mean, like, the conservatives, they want to go after, Clinton, Adam Schiff, and all these people and stuff. I mean, again, they are corrupt, but I don't believe they're at the top of the list for politicians Trump should go after, in my opinion.
Are there any names that that you would like to see hit, or are they politicians, or are they bureaucrats that are lesser known, or some other people behind the scenes?
Well, so I've named them before. And again, it's not based off of skin color. It's based off of how corrupt they are.
Okay.
So again, Letitia James up in New York.
Oh yeah.
I believe she's extreme. For what she tried to throw him in prison last year.
Yeah, her whole motive for that was wrong, and then she was doing what she accused him of doing. It looks like maybe.
Right. And,
Go ahead.
There's so much more, but I mean,
yeah.
Have you seen the video? It surfaced on the internet of Obama, and I don't know who he's interviewing, but he said that it would be ideal for him in some way for him to run a third term, and like put an earpiece in whoever got elected's ear, and they just do whatever he tells them to do. Have you seen that interview before?
Say that again. I tuned out. I was distracted looking at Supers. Repeat that, please.
So Obama was in an interview. I want to say it was sometime in the 2010s.
Okay.
And he said it would be ideal for him to be in charge for a third term.
Oh yeah, but from a basement or something like that.
I bet it's someone's earpiece or whatever.
Yeah.
the 2020 election just says it all.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? Yeah, and then
that's why I call it the Biden administration.
Yeah, I wonder how smart Obama really is. If he's smart, or if it's his team that's clever and devilish and satanic, or, well, of course he's clever and devilish and satanic. But I just wonder how much he personally is behind this stuff, or if it's just his team, and he's sort of just a puppet, a face. A phony, speaker, because he was very, I heard, very charming, according to Bill O'Reilly. when Bill O'Reilly met him, he was going to ask him about something, and I think he did ask him about something, but Obama kind of glad-handed him and then moved on, and Bill was like, that guy is going to be president because he knows how to handle the media. Like, he knows how to just talk, you know?
Well, you know,
so that makes me think that he has high, like, social skills.
Right.
But I think that people gave him more credit for being a good speaker than he actually was. I heard that he didn't write one of those books that he's credited with writing. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he's lazy. Some JLP has alleged that he's lazy, and I can believe it. So I just don't know. Anyway,
his secret security got in a huge altercation not too long ago. Two black women, and it was on surveillance footage, and they got in a huge fist fight. And you could hear
with
the
each
audio.
other.
They were like, yeah, two black women getting in a fight with each other. It was his two security guards.
Black female Secret Service members?
Yep.
Wow.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, and, you know, his daughters are, you know, kind of typical upper middle class black females. I guess they're above upper middle class, but anyway.
Yeah, they don't act like it.
Yeah.
Can I address one more thing really quick?
Yeah.
Super fast.
Okay.
So I somewhat heard what May said yesterday. I can't understand a lot of what she says.
Yeah, she talks fast.
Talks too fast.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounded like what she was getting to, and this is the majority of their message is to don't look at the blacks, look away, look away from what they and worry about yourself. That's their only message, and that's why they get away with so much. Is because of people like her saying that, and if that's your only comeback to look away from what the blacks are doing, because all the majority of them are committing crimes. Everyone knows that, including her. So if that's her only comeback, and Ronnie telling the whites to move out of our country, I mean, they really got to work on their comebacks. They really got to work on it.
Right on, man. I appreciate it, Hayden. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah,
man.
thank you, Hake.
All right, thank you. Jeff in Louisiana on the line here. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding there, man. What's up?
Hey, man. If I speak slowly, can you understand me better?
Definitely.
Okay, this is for Stev'n then.
Okay.
He had to call and insult me yesterday.
Yeah.
The answer to that question you just asked Hayden, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Alvin, Bragg, Letitia James, Andy Willis. And why? Because I don't like that black vernacular.
Black vernacular?
Yes.
Name those people again.
Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Andy Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James.
Who's Andy Willis?
Fani Willis.
Oh, Fani Willis. I remember that now. Fani Willis. I think it's Fani, but it looks like Fanny. Yeah, those would be good. You know, the last three that you mentioned, they feel new, a little bit sort of up and coming, or the new thing.
Well,
but I'm with you on all of them, actually.
I included Michelle Obama because she went on a podcast and whined about to pay for meals in the White House. That's paid for kids to travel.
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't know if she has to pay for her kids to travel, or we pay for that.
Yeah.
Doubt she paid for it.
I love it, man. I would definitely be for investigating all of those. Hayden mentioned Letitia James, Tish James. I'm with you. I would like to go back and investigate Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch.
To be honest, the one I can stand the most at all of them is Fani Willis.
Fani Willis is a defiant, evil woman. Go ahead.
I watched that trial. It was a joke.
You watched the trial of Fani Willis, her trial or Trump's trial? I forget which. This is the
when they had her up there. Well, Trump wasn't there. Is when they was interviewing her, had her on the stand about having a relationship with Nathan Wade and spending money and all that stuff.
This is the Atlanta prosecutor who tried to go after Trump over, and she might have gotten him, over the election shenanigans or something like that.
Trying to turn the election.
Yeah.
You're saying he called threatening to overturn the election and all that crap.
This is why I don't really have any hope for the country, because Trump was trying to do the right thing and have election integrity, and now he's being prosecuted as though he was the one trying to undermine the election, when they're the ones who are trying to undermine the election. They're trying to get every idiot to vote and lying to the blacks and lying to everybody. We have a whole media team of liars, and that's in the government too.
I got into an argument with somebody yesterday, and I told them they was talking about, this is why Trump shouldn't have been elected. This is why Trump shouldn't have been this. And I told him, I said, dude, all you worry about is Trump and bad mouthing. I said, Trump is think about it this way. Trump is a truest American. Trump is about business. Trump is about himself. Trump's about making money legally.
Yeah.
And Trump don't care what you think about what he says.
Yeah.
That's a typical American.
That is the greatest old school American that we've been needing.
Dude, when you go to town, when you go grocery shopping, do you care what somebody thinks about what you're buying? No. When you go to pay for something, do you care? Unless you're scraping, counting coins to pay, do you care what somebody thinks about your money? No. All you're worried about is you have it and you can do what you need to do.
Yeah,
that's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, you let people have their freedom to think or say whatever they want about you, and you keep doing your thing.
Man, you just don't care. I mean, that's like I told y'all before. My thing in life is I have an ethical attitude. I don't care what. I just my outlook is ethical. If it don't affect me, F it. if I can control it, F it.
Yeah.
If I have no control over what's going to worry about it.
Right. He means F as in forget, kids. I'm lying, but no, I'm with you, man. I really respect that attitude, actually.
If I can't control it, what's the point of worrying about it?
Yeah.
I can only worry about what I can control.
That's right.
And, you can't control everything, so worry about what you control. Can you control your job? To a certain degree, yes.
Right.
You do a good job, you can do good work, you get rewarded.
Yep.
It may not be as fast as you want, but you will get rewarded.
That's right.
Or you come to work, you halfway, I ain't going to say the words, I don't want to cuss them, halfway it, and just do the bare minimum to get by. And guess what? When layoffs come around, you're the first one to go.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's just, you got to take pride in what you do in yourself.
And on top of that, if say you never get rewarded, you have your self-respect, you have your dignity, because you kept doing what's right.
Exactly, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, you can. I've done it before, and I've figured out ways to do it and not get caught. Well, you can cheat and make it look a lot better, but
yep, true.
but no, man. But the thing I found funny yesterday was he called in and he griped about, he tried to insult me saying I was retarded or something. There was something wrong with him or something. So I mumble and I talk fast.
Oh, about Stev'n from Maryland talking about you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then he says he hates Southerners because of our accent.
Right. What
about his white wife from Germany, a racist country, a Nazi?
Right. He's
his wife's a Nazi, actually. So
according to him, yep.
So
Stevens a mess.
And there's I watched a video this morning, or seen clips of video this morning. there's a black guy there. He just went off. He said, what's all, he's a black man. He said, what's all you black people said, y'all claim y'all built this and built that. Said you built the railroads back in the 1800s. That's under the direction of a white man. You built this back then. This is under the direction of a white man.
That's right.
He said, no. He said, why people don't have to go back 200 years to find something they built so they can look at yesterday.
Right.
He said, but y'all have to go back this far to find something y'all built, and that wasn't under the direction of a white man.
That's true.
And that kind of comes back to my point I made last week about how I thought it was kind of biblical in the sense that people were made to where the white man with the brains, the black man was the labor, and like the Asians are brainiacs with math and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're all put here and designed to do a certain thing.
That's right.
And that's just it, man. I don't hold you. I don't repeat that point, but people need to understand that. The quicker they understand that, the quicker they realize how we can make a way in this world.
Yeah. Right.
Well, man, I'll let you go, man. I ain't gonna hold you up.
I appreciate it, Jeff. Take care, man.
Have a good one, man.
You too.
Well.
Bye. Big Bump says, for the past 2 months or so, Jeff has been my favorite caller. Shout out. Nice. I have a few super chats to read, actually. Thank you, Ronnie in Ohio. You inspired some calls in response to your go back to somewhere else if you don't like it. If you have black fatigue in America, leave. Trolling, just trolling. Brutal. Heartless. Aaron, 3 coffees. I didn't realize title case was harder to read until you mentioned it about my super chat on JLP. My bad. Well, I'm glad I mentioned it so that it can help. Yeah, because, title case is difficult to read, meaning the first letter of every word being capitalized. It just, visually, it doesn't look good. It throws you off. So it's better to capitalize what's meant to be capitalized in a sentence. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's cool. Thank you. That was Aaron. Cesar, 3 coffees. Sup, Hake? What's up? Are you familiar with some blacks bringing up the Moorish people, the Moors, M-O-O-R, Moorish people, and referring to them as black when they were actually Arab Muslims? Yeah. Remember Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves? I didn't realize with Kevin Costner. Way back 90s, like 1993, something like that, maybe younger. I feel like it might have been 1991. Let's see. I did a couple of big trips, one in... Yeah, I'm not sure when it was, but it doesn't matter. Let me keep it moving. I didn't realize how liberal and anti-racist and kind of dumb that movie was. I used to think Kevin Costner was so cool, but he's a girly lame-o liberal. Shout out. I might be being too harsh with that, but I might be exactly right, actually. Because Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, had a Moor guy in there. And the Moor was this guy with all these things on his face. Like moles or something, I'm not sure. And it was a black dude. It was that one guy who narrates everything. You're sick of him already. He's the one who all the whites and conservatives and boomers were all excited about him because he's like, you want to get rid of racism? Stop talking about it. Ooh, yeah, very nice. Yeah, I agree. But he was in Stand and Deliver? No, Lean On Me? He was in all these movies. He plays God. He's black. What's that guy's name? He plays Lucius Fox in the Batman movies. What's this guy's name? Morgan Freeman. Thank you, Anchor Baby. Yeah, Morgan Freeman, black, playing like a morgue, a Muslim, promoting blacks being Muslims. That's not a good thing to promote. Yeah, I get that they go target the prison blacks and turn them Muslim and they turn their life around a little bit. And I grant you that, but it's not good. You turn away from the white man's Christian religion. That was the best thing for you until you turned it black. Instead of turning it just Christian, now you're black and Christian. Yeah, I'm Christian, but I'm black. I didn't know that. Well, I don't know if Moors were Arab, dark Arab, or if they were black. But yeah, I mean, the Italians don't seem. Some of them have that curly hair, but they might be a little bit black. But maybe they're a little bit more Arab than black. But are Arabs part black? Is that why they're like that? I don't know, because Arabs usually have like black hair, a little bit tanner than normal whites. Because what race are Arab? If you break the races into instead of 3, 7, I don't know. It ain't worth promoting, Hake, but there are black Arabs. Yeah, okay, I could believe it. Actors need money. They do what they're told, James. It's a career. Relax, Hake, says Christopher. No, there's no question that Morgan Freeman is into the black thing, promoting the black thing. I didn't know that even... What movie is that? Lean on Me or something? He's all black. He's like wearing a dashiki or whatever that thing is. Arabs are Semites, Hake. Semitic race. Semitic is a race? I thought that was just white. Because they call it Iranian Persians, some of like the original whites. They're Aryan. Iranian. Aryan. Persian. I don't know. Striking faces, actually. What's the deal with some blacks claiming they were already here in America before the slave ships brought them here? That I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's true. We could have brought them, along with us, Christopher Columbus and all them. Not that Columbus brought in to the United States. He didn't hit United States. What do you think about that, man? I don't know, Caesar. I have a lot of thoughts, but no knowledge. Hey, what you think about Clark Gable? Oh, I like Clark Gable, I think. He sounds like the old school guy. Is he alive anymore? American actor. Was he part black or part Arab or something? Yeah. Icon of masculinity for 3 decades. King of Hollywood. Yeah, just a classic look and aura, if you will, about him. 37-year career. 7th greatest male screen legend. William Clark Gable. Early life check. Let's early life check this man. Born in 1901, Cadiz, whatever, Ohio, to William Henry Will Gable, who died in 48, born in 1870. Oil well driller. Wife Adeline, born Hershelman. Nee. I don't know how you pronounce nee. Nee? N-E with an accent, E. Father Protestant, mother Catholic. I'm shaking my head a little bit facetiously. Referred to as the kid by his father. Named William, almost always went by Clark. Referred to as the kid by his father. Isn't that so fun? Life. Pretty interesting. His stepmother raised the tall, shy child with a loud voice to be well-dressed and well-groomed. Yeah, I don't know. Why are you bringing him up? You should grow a Clark Gable mustache. Yeah, it's nice. I'm reading all this. Sorry, guys, you're looking at Cesar's coffee. Let me at least show him to you. I don't know if I'm spelling it right, but this is the guy that they're talking about. I don't know why they brought him up. Great hair. Chill. Shout out. He died in 1960 at the tender age of like 59 and change. At Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center, emergency room. Whoa. I didn't know that. Terrible. Why? 6'1". Why did he die? What was his death of? Let's see. Age 59. Real quick. You got me. Illness and death. He'd suffered a heart attack. Okay. Whatever. Satisfactory, improving, and then he died. Second heart attack. Caused by an infection. Wow. Well, rest in peace, Clark Gable. Gone before I was born. Oh, there were more super chats, actually. Let me get over here. You Rumble people. Let's see. Oh, by the way, Chops TMC. I screenshot this stuff on Pilled and Rumble, okay? Pilled.net/The Hake Report. Chops, what does it say? TMC. Chops ITMC. Gifted the cookie. The more I see of the 2020 election, the more it looks scripted, not stolen to me. Yeah, people are just, they fall into like predictable ways. It's so predictable. It's so obvious once they do it. You know? Sometimes it's unexpected, and then you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. So it could feel kind of scripted. And I'm kind of with you. I kind of get it. Commander Kim, if all the whites were to leave, there would be rolling blackouts, I think is what she's saying. Sewers would back up. EBT cards would stop getting filled. Farm fields would become barren. Millions upon millions would starve. Yeah. I'm with you, Commander Kim. It's not right. A nice Rumble rant from Commander Kim. Shout out. You think that's true? I think there's some truth to it. Space Ghost asked me, and I screenshot it for some reason. Is Senator Dianne Feinstein's daughter still voting in the Senate for her, Hake? I wasn't aware of that happening. That's crazy. If true. If it was ever true. Dianne Feinstein, the dinosaur. Is she even alive? Dianne Feinstein. I lost track of her. Yeah, she died in 2023. Rest in peace, Dianne Feinstein. Ooh. And she was replaced, or going to be replaced, or has been replaced with someone worse. If you can believe it. Not a Christian, by the way, I don't think. Anti-gun concealed carrier of a gun. Died at 90, gone too soon. From 1992 until 2023, she was a so-called senator. 38th mayor of San Francisco, 78 to 88. A San Francisco native. She graduated from Stanford, 1955. And so because she was old, she was a little bit more old school and a little bit, just a touch more sensible than the people replacing her. Born Goldman. Wow. What a mess. I wasn't aware of her daughter voting for her. That's interesting. Yeah, whites, Dianne Feinstein. She's still getting votes. Hake does news 2 years later. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's a mess. Anyway. We are approaching the top of the hour. Let me get to Graham out of Pennsylvania, a first-time caller. Graham, thanks for calling. What's up?
How you doing, Hake?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Good to talk to you.
Yeah.
So first, just want to shout out your three best callers, Robert, Mark. Sorry about that working. Robert, Mark, and Ling Yu. Ling Yu is awesome.
Ling Yu?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. I forget what the nature of that call was.
No, Ling Yu was like last week, I thought.
You might be right.
Yeah, but anyway, I just wanted to respond to Ronnie with his his anti-white mess.
Yeah.
The audacity of this guy, like telling HADEN and Mark to go where first of all, where would they even go? Where can we go where it's only white people? That's number one. And like the audacity of this guy, like telling them that they should leave their country that their ancestors built. Ronnie, why don't you go back to Africa, bud? Just ridiculous.
I think this was his intent, was to trigger people and troll them and get them to react. Because I think
Yeah,
that he knows that he's being ridiculous. I think
Yeah,
that he's
he's
trolling us
normally-
and trying to treat us the way that we've treated them. If they're not happy, leave America, which is
Yeah.
what we say to them. And so he's saying it back to us, kind of thing.
Yeah. He's usually a little more subtle with his anti-white mask. but
Yeah, true.
He really came out and he really let the mask slip that time.
You think that
Oh,
he's
man.
serious or joking? Do you think he's just trolling and you think it's
I don't know.
No. Here's this. Do you think he's being vicious or if he's just being silly? Because this is written down, and stuff that's written down, you can take more harshly than he meant it. He may
Yeah,
be
I
just joking
suppose.
around, or he may be even a joke though can have some viciousness behind it. You think he's being vicious with this?
I think it was just kind of a mask off moment.
Okay.
To be
Yeah,
honest with
so
you.
that's a yes.
But-
That's a vicious because mask
yeah,
off
on some
is vicious.
on some level for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I
But-
accept.
Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Cool talking to you, calling in for a change.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it.
This is the age of inversion, by the way.
Age of inversion. It's great hearing from you. I'm glad
Correct.
that you did.
Yeah, man. Thanks for taking the call.
What an honor, man. Take care. Call me again sometime.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
All right. That's cool. Lin Yu. Oh, I wonder if Lin Yu was also known as Brogan. No, I don't want to speculate, even though I just did. Nice. Okay, Daniel in Texas. Always educational. Daniel, how are you doing, man?
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks, man.
You were talking about Moors.
Yeah.
What they look like.
Yeah. How do you pronounce that? Moors, anyway. Moors?
More.
Okay.
More. As in, I want more.
Yeah. And they came into like lower Europe, I guess, and they mixed with the Italians, and that's why many Italians are like black-haired and Spaniards.
Yeah. And that's what I want to talk about is Shakespeare has a play called Othello the Moor.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy, and he is explicitly stated as being black.
Okay.
He's compared to a black ram.
Okay.
And so, are you familiar with the story?
Yeah, a little bit. I saw a Star Trek episode in English class in high school based on Othello, I think.
Okay. So there's multiple morals in the story.
Okay.
But the number one moral that is the same across every Shakespeare play is do not trust women.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what
Shout
Othello
out
is
Shakespeare.
Othello is a Venetian general who marries a senator's daughter, and so he's black and she's white,
Okay.
and he ends up murdering her.
Whoa.
And it comes down to his ensign. He has a subordinate that is running around telling lies about Othello and Desdemona cheating on him, which is a lie. And Othello basically can't control his anger, and he murders her.
Whoa. Because he caught a woman. Because a woman lied.
Well, the woman is innocent in the charge of her infidelity. However, in the beginning, when she is being married, the senator does not trust Othello for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And the senator tells Othello, she has lied to me, so beware. She has lied to her father. Do you think she's going to be honest with you?
Wow.
And that kind of, but Desdemona is kind of shown throughout the play as this innocent victim, but it all starts with her lie to her father. She lies to her father.
Desdemona is the wife, the white wife.
The white wife. She has deceived her father.
The senator's daughter.
Yes.
Interesting.
And the moral of Othello is don't trust women.
Yeah.
But he is black, and I think he's converted to Christian because he gets married.
Oh,
Marries
okay.
So he basically adopts the culture of Venice, but he can't overcome his violent tendencies, and his subordinate Iago kind of plays against him.
Whoa. Manipulated by his ensign, or ensign, I guess is how you pronounce
Yeah,
it.
basically his one of his lieutenants.
Iago.
His chief lieutenant, basically.
Iago is Jacob. Iago. Did you know that?
Oh, it is? I didn't know.
Or I think it's related to Jacob. Because Iago is, when they didn't have the letter J, they used an I. Anyway, I learned that because the name Iago was the parrot for the bad guy in... Never mind. It's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Aladdin. Desdemona.
Okay.
Desdemona, what a name. Should I name my daughter Desdemona? Desdemona? The name Demon is in it. Venetian beauty. Enrages and disappoints her father, the Venetian senator, when she elopes with Othello, a Moorish Venetian military prodigy. Oh, so he was a smart Moor.
Yeah, he won. I want to say there was a war in Cyprus.
And so are Moors... Okay, so Moors can be black, or they are black, but they're Arab?
By the way, this is a fiction, by the way. I just want to
Fiction.
say that.
Yeah.
It is a fiction.
Right.
But what was your question?
Moors are black always, or are they Arab and sometimes black, and Arab and sometimes Arab white, Arab black, kind of like Mexicans?
I think they can be all colors.
Okay.
It's more reflective of the culture.
Okay.
But this skin color stuff is so superficial.
Yeah.
It's so superficial. I mean, you can be a white, black, yellow, red American.
Right. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's more important that you're an American than what your skin color is.
True.
And just going around parading whatever your skin color is, it's like it's like going around saying, I have 2 hands and 2 feet. Look at me, everybody.
It's interesting.
It's so superficial.
It is. But people are superficial, and they get pulled into identifying with it. And a lot of people get pulled into a certain type of thinking. Like blacks get pulled into a certain excuse making and intellectualizing and stuff, and whites get pulled into different things too, like a kissing up or going, I don't know. There's something about it that's super interesting to me. Have you noticed that? You have to have noticed that, I think.
Oh, certainly. I'm well aware that there's people identify with their skin color.
Right.
I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare has a quote that says, brevity is the soul of wit.
Yeah.
And I don't suggest even getting into it with somebody that is obsessed with their skin color.
Now, race, as you know, they say, and I agree, is more than skin color.
Yeah, I agree. I think language and culture all play into race.
Yeah.
So it's still...
But identifying with anything, identifying with yourself is a mistake.
Yeah. At least, yeah, I agree. But
it is,
some mistakes...
Go ahead.
I think some mistakes are bigger than others, though. I think identifying with... publicly identifying with being white is a mistake.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge mistake.
Because the world is anti-white, so you're just putting a target on yourself. Is that why you're saying that it's a mistake?
Yes, you have no protections.
Yeah.
It's a category that has been established by someone that's not you.
Right. They move the needle though a little bit when they do that. Don't they move don't they make people realize, some of the people identifying with, not necessarily identifying with being white, but calling themselves white and pointing out they're white and they're under attack for being white and all that stuff? Isn't that work that a lot of people are doing? I don't know if it's good, but it's showing people, it's awakening people to the anti-white thing.
Yeah, running defense for white, I think, is a mistake, because it's not it's a category that the government has established. To when there's somebody, I won't say his name, but he's a fellow Catholic, and he says when you start talking about black and white, all of a sudden other things start to disappear. All of a sudden certain cultures start to disappear, and cultural behaviors are more conflicting than skin color.
Right. That's true.
You will find more conflict in not knowing each other's language than you will out of skin color.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden the language disappears.
Yeah.
And now, when it's all black and white, the language disappears. Now you can't identify what language you're speaking or to whom you're speaking. It's a mistake.
Yeah. Interesting, man.
Okay. Well, I'm all talked out.
It's good to hear from you.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Daniel in Texas, Tejas. Wow. And man, oh man. What's up, Jules? What's up, Commander Kim, T-Fly Monkey, Gerta, WT1. Do a little bit of shout outs on the Rumble crew. Thank you guys. Wow, I'm glad I checked the Rumble rants when I did. I don't have the Rumble rant from what's her name anymore. Commander Kim. I did see a Angband Art bought a coffee stating a horrible thing happened to this person. Oh no. Let me do this. Okay. Complicated business, everybody. Ronnie made a splash. Angband Art says, I got stung by a bee on my back while driving, listening to the Hake report. Not holding you responsible, but thought you should be aware. Oh, man. Yeah, I should be aware of that. Angband. Brutal. I would not want to be stung by a bee on my back. Last time I was stung by a bee, it was on my foot. I just doxed my shoe. Terrible. Doesn't even look that good. I was running around barefoot. The last time I recall being stung by a bee, maybe about more than 10 years ago, because I started working in Bonn 10 years ago. I was working at this other place, and I would stop off at a high school and run around the high school, kicking the soccer ball and stuff, and running around, and like I said, already running around. And I would run barefoot at times because, I would want to strengthen my calves and get better running barefoot and running all around and stuff like that. Kicking the ball. I got stung by a bee and my foot kind of, it did get swollen. Ugh. Not a good feeling. I don't like that feeling. I don't like throwing up. I don't like bee stings. Say sorry about 3 coffees. Are you familiar with, hey, sup, Hake? You familiar? Oh, I already read that. About the Moors. Interesting. Well, thank you guys, as always, for the support. Let me double check over on over here. Thank you, Gregatron. Appreciate that. Mitt in Australia. What's up, Mitt? Thank you for calling and holding, man. I'm trying to get to all of you guys.
Hey,
What's up?
how you going? My question is, do you think Donald Trump has a time machine?
No.
No? You haven't heard about, like, how his predecessors did the Tesla inventions? There was supposed to be, like, a certain amount of inventions, but only so many were recovered when they went to his place. And the book about Donald Trump and, you know, the Trump Mansion written in, like, 1889. I think it was, like, reprinted in, like, 1893 or something like that. But it's like a 200-year-old book about this baron living in the Trump Mansion with his friend Don. And people are saying that there are two Donald Trumps lately. I don't get what that means, but I think it's a tie. Like one where he wears a red tie and one where he wears a blue tie, but I think it's the same person. But people are saying there are two Donald Trumps. And if you know the character, the cartoon character Donald Duck.
Yes.
If you like flip it upside down, they're on these pieces of paper that were given to me the other day. But if you flip it upside down, it looks like Donald Trump, and you can go on the internet and search Donald Duck upside down, and I swear to God, with the hairstyle and everything, it's Trump. You don't think he has a time machine? You don't think that even if it's not completed, even if he hasn't like figured out how to use it yet, because Tesla might have not have finished that invention. You know what I mean? So they might still be trying to perfect it, but I think he does.
You've been taking those mushrooms, man, and that acid.
No,
I like how you say
It's 3
ARDENE.
o'clock in the morning here. Pardon me?
I like how you and Australians say ARDENE. ARDENE?
18.
You're right.
18.
That's
we got a love slang. Yeah.
No, I don't think he has a time machine, man. I think those are
Come on, there was inventions. Tesla was like a genius. He had like
Nikola Tesla,
big
right?
Tesla coils. Nikola Tesla, yeah. And they stopped his research when he was very, very old, and so he's doing his own thing after a while. But he's the reason we have like AC/DC electricity and stuff like that, and long range electricity, and yeah, because of Tesla. He's a very cool person. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, you said no, so that answers my question. I'll let you get on, but you've got other callers and that.
I have. Thank you, man.
Yeah. All right, love you.
Oh,
love
by the
you.
way, how are you calling? What are you using to call?
Yeah, I just used I should have said about that before when I was but I'm using just my phone, and I just get so many hours, like overseas hours as part of my contract.
Oh, cool.
So like every 30 days they take you I think it's like $60 or $80, and I use it to hotspot my TV and nice. For heaps of stuff, and and so I get I don't know, 80 hours or something a month of overseas calls.
That's
anywhere
not bad.
In the world.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just part of the plan. So you just use your normal phone. You just got to put +1, I think, is America. And then the number. My number has 555 in it. My mobile number, it has 555 in it.
Really?
It's yes, I swear to God.
I didn't know that I thought that they didn't allow that prefix ever. And that's why all the movies used it, because it wasn't a real number.
I say like when I hyphenated, I say like 555, like American movies. It's like, I'm not going to say it, but it's part of it is 555.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man.
Okay.
So you have an international calling plan. That's cool.
Yeah, it's just part of the plan. Yeah.
And you sound great, actually. You sound quite clear.
Thank you. I am. I'm glad for it, and I love it how you go like who and what, and I'm you're very like, yes, I love that. We love that about you.
Thanks, man.
Been to like a couple of times. I just wanted to reaffirm that as well. Cool. Have a beautiful night, hey. Or morning.
You as well.
Morning for you all over there.
You as well, man.
3:40 in the morning in Australia. Have a good one, hey. I love you, big bro.
All right. Yeah, thank you, man. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. Mark in Los Angeles, California. Mark, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
How you doing, Hake?
Doing well.
Got a couple things. First of all, just real quick to answer Ronnie. The white man built America. His people are destroying it. And if we were to leave like he suggest he'd be starving and struggling to survive in this country without whites. The thing I called about, well, there were two quick things.
Okay.
One, I wanted to talk to you about this yesterday. Here in California, the ICE people, the good guys, are using, I think it's called Angel Program. I talked about it on Nick's show yesterday, where they can get a federal warrant, the ICE, in immigration enforcement, and they could go to any jail and get the illegal out of there without any resistance from sanctuary city policies or anything. They have to honor those federal warrants. So it'll be easier for ICE to operate in California. As you know, California is doing everything they can to protect these illegals because they need their votes. And Gavin Newsom's playing both sides. He's trying to say that he's always cooperated on ICE. That's an outright lie.
Yeah, I believe you.
Everything he's done has been to benefit these criminals. So that's that. And getting back to Ronnie, quick second, the only thing I would suggest is that we as whites be allowed to have a white ethno-state without Negroes so that we could have our own system. I guarantee you, if, say, for example, you give us Montana and it's whites only, we'd have engineers, we'd have scientists, we would be the number one state in the union if they didn't have Negroes to put us down, vote communist, commit crime, and whatnot. And I told your screener when I called, the reason for the call is to compare Africa and all the countries there and their governments and compare that to the black-run cities in the U.S. Do you see parallels?
Probably.
I see parallels.
Yeah.
I see black juries that won't convict blacks. I see black voters who will vote communist.
Right.
In both places. I see corruption at the highest levels, both in Africa and in big city America. Speaking of Fani Willis and that animal up in New York, Letitia James. So the same corruption in Africa follows these people here. The lucky thing for us white folk is that they're only 13% of the population.
Yeah, not 90 or not 93% or whatever it is down there.
Yeah, exactly.
If you combine them with the coloreds.
I don't think I would even want to step foot in South Sudan. I don't think I'd even want to set foot in the Congo.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are any whites there unless they're scientists or they're there to give money to our black brothers over there. But, any black-dominated society is unsafe for whites. And Ronnie knows that. And Ronnie's part of the problem. You don't think he'd vote for a commie. You don't think he'd vote to, Hayden brought it
He
up.
probably voted for Obama, which is commie.
I think he did. I think they have no qualms about voting for an incompetent or a communist as long as they're on board with hating whitey. That's the common denominator.
Terrible.
And, one other thing. I just thought of this. Before I turned on to your show today, I'm not going to name any shows, so don't worry. I was listening to one of your competitors, and honestly, I don't know if this slogan was around before I said it last week. Racism saves lives. That was the title of her show today. And I'm not going to name her name or give anything else out. I'm just letting you know someone is listening to our conversation. I just said that to you last week, and now I see it on a headline.
That's interesting, man.
That's good.
I said that's interesting.
Yes. So I think more people are listening and paying attention than ever before. I mean, your show and Jesse and everybody, you guys should be in the millions of followers because, like I said last week, there's a lot of white Christians who live in blue cities and blue states who want to hear, and you guys should be making a million. I know that a lot of other conservatives are joining in, and excluding William from L.A., who I trust, and Jesse, who I trust, watch out for the black conservatives.
Well, I know that.
The guy
I know
you don't want me to name names, but a popular black conservative who is a sports guy, he supported, he didn't support, but he made excuses for the guy that stabbed Metcalf.
Oh, boy.
He was saying, well, he would have did it to a black guy, too. it's like Hayden said, they want to deflect from their evil and put it on us. Well, worry about yourself and don't worry about what we're doing. Well, you're killing our people.
Yeah.
So we're going to worry. You know, I don't know. I mean, if Ronnie ever wants to talk again, I'm willing to do it. I know that he's not the brightest bulb in the box, but he's at least nice enough to not be arrogant. And, you know, he'll lie. He'll, you know, say whatever to get his argument across. But when we debated a couple of weeks ago and I told him that there has never been a black civilization in the history of the world, he had no reply. He couldn't deny it. And neither could that goofball down in Baltimore. He couldn't, he said India and Egypt. I mean, didn't he tell you that on a follow-up call? I mean,
yeah, he said India is black.
And I think he said Egypt.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and this guy served in our military, and he votes? This is what really scares me, man.
Yeah,
I mean, some of these
terrible.
people aren't qualified to, well, I won't say it, but to vote, they should have never did away with literacy tests. That's when they passed the Voting Rights Act, the unconstitutional Voting Rights Act in 1965. Part of that law was to eliminate literacy tests. And I wonder why. I wonder why they would want to eliminate those. Well, we know the answer because we know who fails them. The same people that get 10 to 15 IQ points lower on the testing. So, you know, they want their votes. They're willing to throw our country in the garbage. And the only reason we may make it out of here alive, Hake, is because there's still a relatively, 13% of the population. When they get to be 20, 25, it's going to get real ugly real fast. They're teaching their kids to hate us. I just saw a clip, you may have seen it, where little black babies that are just learning to walk, I mean, they're in diapers, and they're attacking cops and calling them names.
Yeah.
I wonder where they got that from. I wonder how they got those names. I wonder how they got the bad attitude, and they're in diapers.
Yeah. Evil
So
parents.
it doesn't look good.
Evil relatives. Evil adults.
Yes.
Evil teenagers. Yeah.
Yeah, and they want our kids to go to school with their kids.
Yeah.
I mean, that's terrifying. It's very, very scary what the future holds for white America unless things are changed. My only solution, if Ronnie's listening, is to start a white ethno-state. We'll leave and we'll let you fall apart, Ronnie, you and your brethren. We'll let you destroy this country like you did every other city that you took over or country in Africa that you currently run. And by the way, the only civilization in Africa today are what the Dutch and the English brought. You know, they have a fake court system. They have a fake electorate. Everything's corrupt. But they wear suits and ties and speak English. We saw the guy from South Africa in Trump's Oval Office a week or two ago. I mean,
one of the golfers, the white South African golf star.
Oh yeah, he brought those guys with him as props, but they actually diminished his argument. But
right.
The thing that, if you watched that when Trump was showing the film of the cemetery or the crosses, the big fat guy didn't even want to look.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't want to accept their evil. They don't want to hear it. They just want to blame Whitey.
Yeah.
You know, for all their problems. And that's what they're teaching their kids, too. And then the kids get to school and get indoctrinated by self-hating white liberals, usually women. And we're paying for it through public taxes that pay for the schools. They're indoctrination centers. And believe me, Hake, this isn't really anything new. It's just become more intense in the 21st century. You can go back as far as the 50s, the 1950s, and they were, talking about how bad white racism was and we have to end segregation. All mistakes, and it's led up to where we're at today. So that's all I got to say. I hope, by the way, yesterday in your conversation with JC in regards to Chauvin, I thought I heard you say that Chauvin should go free, and I could be wrong, so you can correct me. And then JC, Junior Chump, turned to you and said, you want him to be free, and you said you were just joking. So let me ask you, do you want Chauvin to go free?
Definitely.
Okay, I was a little confused.
I don't remember. I said he's innocent. And I was joking around because I don't know how innocent he is of all the things that he rattled off.
Well, I don't know. 15, what do you call it? Said he had 15 excessive force complaints. No police department's going to keep you with that many complaints. Now, I don't know if it's true or not. There's no way to know. I wouldn't trust Junior Chump to tell the truth, though.
Yeah.
And insofar as the other issue with Derek Chauvin, Ed Martin, the attorney that was spit on, he's still a U.S. attorney. He's not a U.S. attorney, but he works at the DOJ. And this is something you should know. He said he reviewed Chauvin's case, and Chauvin should never have been convicted. Jury tampering. He had all kinds of charges. I don't have them all, but Ed Martin read the case. He's a lawyer. He knows the case more than Junior Chump, and I think that that should mean something in this debate. Although I don't believe Chauvin will go free.
Yeah.
Only because of the black power, system in this country. By rights, he should go free. And don't forget, Ed Martin defended many of the J6ers and got some of them released, and the rest were pardoned. And Trump likes him. He's a conservative. And if he says that he reviewed Chauvin's case and he needs to be pardoned, I'm with it. Whether it can happen or not, or whether it will happen or not, I don't know. But in the meantime, Derek Chauvin is a political prisoner.
That's for sure. And I don't even really think that CJ would dispute that he's a political prisoner.
I wouldn't trust anything that guy says. He's down to me for praying for Chauvin. That tells you what kind of a character this guy is. He probably quit high school and joined the circus when he was a kid, and now he calls your show and talks crap.
Well, he made a valid point, or he made a point that was interesting, at least, that holding up Derek Chauvin as an innocent victim is akin to the blacks holding up the black guy, George Floyd, as an innocent victim. Neither of them are innocent victims, is what he's saying.
Well, the bottom line, Derek Chauvin did not kill George Floyd.
Right.
I don't know. I don't see how that's not I'm not talking about you, but I don't see how that isn't getting through to the public. The death certificate says OD on fentanyl. That's the end of the story. If he didn't die, it didn't say homicide.
Yeah.
So that should mean something.
They try to play like there was a homicide, but anyway.
Well, he was convicted of what was he? I
murder.
Thought he was
they called it murder.
Well, how can it be murder if the death certificate says OD from fentanyl?
I don't know what the death certificate says. I don't know what the different, because there's been different people who review the body, who checked over the body, and they have their pet body checker. I forget what the name of a body checker is. Somebody who looks over the autopsy. There's multiple autopsies that they did, I think. I thought that they did multiple autopsies, and one autopsy guy said, "Oh, it was a homicide. He died because of the extra pressure on his body. He couldn't breathe." So I think
the death certificate, I could be wrong, and I don't want the hair splitter to try to make everything I say not to be believed, because I may be wrong about a little detail. But I think the death certificate may have come out after the trial. I could be wrong, or it could have been changed. But I do know that the cause of death for George Floyd was overdose of fentanyl, not murder, not homicide. And that alone should spring Derek Chauvin out of jail. Regardless of his 15 complaints, supposedly. Can you imagine a police department keeping on a cop that's had 15 excessive force complaints? Usually one or two, and you're gone. It's too much of a liability for the PD to have a guy like that. Look what it cost him, $27 million. If he had 15 I don't want to say brutality, excessive force complaints. I challenge that. I don't know where I'm going to have to try to research it. I hate to waste my time over some idiot calling in and making these claims.
Yeah, it's like not something that really matters to you or me or Derek Chauvin himself, what we know or don't know about the accusations against him. Honestly, it doesn't matter. But
where did CJ
one thing that's crazy to me is that the notion that we need an expert, doctor or scientist to review and do this looking over of his body to determine the cause of death and ruling it a homicide. If you need an expert to do it, then you need an expert to control every little thing that a cop does. Because if you need an expert to do it, how is a cop to know what he's doing to the person? If it takes an expert to determine what happened to the person, you can't expect a cop to know what he did that may have done something to the person. So you can't call it a murder. It's ridiculous.
Right. I thought I heard that they said that George Floyd did not die from excessive force. Now, I don't know if that's...
I don't know.
I know that all I know for sure is that the man died from a fentanyl overdose. And because Chauvin is white and a cop, and that makes him hateable to 98% of the Negro community, they're going to convict him. He's not... And plus, the jury was intimidated. Not my words, the words of Martin. And obviously, it was in the media when it happened. I'm talking about...
Yeah, everybody could see it. Yeah, it was...
The jury...
It was definitely a political, anti-white, communist motivation. That
well, the Attorney General is a commie.
Yeah, I know.
So whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah, total communist.
And Waltz isn't much better. I'd say he's a red Chinese. He took a lot of money from Red China.
I'm
talking about Waltz, the guy that ran for VP with Harris.
Oh.
He's been to China, and when COVID hit, he militarized the state of Minnesota. He had the armed National Guard patrolling the streets, making sure everyone was inside. That's what they do in Red China, Cuba, North Korea. And Waltz is right on board with that Chinese-style communism, which is the most evil political philosophy in the history of the world, Chinese communism.
Really?
It's the most brutal anti-white philosophy. It's killed 5 times more than Hitler was alleged to have killed.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Mao Zedong. I've never read his Red Book completely, but I know he's made some references that are anti-white. And that's why so many of these BLM and other colored communists admire Mao. The white commies go more for Stalin, who was also evil and a mass murderer. But if I know you're too young to remember, but when China and Russia were both communists, well, China still is, but I'm talking about in the Cold War days, they used to have border skirmishes all the time. And they were both commies, but they hated each other, and it was due to race. What else could it have been? They're both singing off the same sheet of communism, but they didn't even get along with each other because of race. And under communism, a lot of black Africans would study in Russia. And they would, of course, go after the women and, of course, be brought to justice. And they would be found in what do they call that tundra over there in Russia where they... that freezing cold place where they had a prison.
Yeah. I forget what it was called, too. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where they would find their bodies.
That's crazy.
So, the Russians know about the race issue, even under communism, but I'm not allowed to say it on your show, but I think you know who were the ones who brought communism to Russia. I don't want to say, it begins with a J.
Right. Fair enough.
Right. Okay, Hake, that's all I got. God bless. Have a good day.
You as well, Mark in Los Angeles. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye. Super chats. I see you over on the D Live crew. Let me make sure I get all of these. Elijah with a generous number of diamonds over on the D Live crew. Let me just copy, paste. Hopefully that does it. And bring them over here. Oh, Lord. Complicated business. Boom. Let's see if this opens up. Okay. Cookie 7 gifted the cookie a couple of times and said, culture wars are bad enough. We need to keep race out of that, says Cookie. Thank you, Cookie. It's interesting. And on over here on the D Live Diamonds, Elijah, hopefully I did this correctly. I think I did. Hey, Ronnie, whites built America. You and your other ungrateful blacks should leave, says Elijah with a diamond. If blacks built the USA, Africa would be a world superpower. With multiple diamonds, he says. Indeed. At the height of slavery, 1.8% of the U.S. population owned slaves, says Elijah. And what's wrong with slavery anyway? You know what I mean? What's wrong with it? Pfft. I don't think it's necessarily ideal. Lee said that it was a political and moral evil. Robert E. Lee. He wrote that. I don't know if he meant that when he wrote that to. I think he wrote it to his wife. I was looking into the woman accused of spitting on a real quick side note. Let's see if I can have this unmuted here. Come on. Is it going? The world. Is it just me, or is my thing not going? I have it on volume. Let me try something real quick. Let me play my Hake intro just to make sure that the volume is working here.
1, 2.
Okay, that's working. Did I mute the Facebook thing? Did I mute it? Okay, what if does that unmute it? Nope. Oh, Lord. Oh, here's what I'll do. Bring it over here. Okay, yeah, it had been. Oh, maybe I did. Maybe I muted it on purpose. How do I unmute it? Right-click? I'm right-clicking. Doesn't have any way to unmute it. Oh, here's it. Okay, there we go. Always allow sound. Done. Yeah, that's sound. Sorry, guys. Complicated business, folks. Look at this. This looks interesting. This looks more interesting than looking at the woman who spit on, what's his name? Rescued what is that, a dog? Pardon me. Leg cramp. Oh, it's a horse. Wow, this is what some of you guys are doing while you're listening to the Hake Report. Gotta pull a horse out of the mud. That's a horse head. Guy got a leg cramp trying to pull a horse out of there. Poor horsey. That's some man work. I'd love to see you women surpass men with dealing with a horse that's stuck in the mud, deep in the mud. You women. Any excuse to hate women. Shout out. Wow. How long do we have to watch this? Here, let's go ahead. 10 minutes. Hopefully they're not cussing. Joe's near demise. They dug him out?
Hook that loop that we tied in the rope to it.
Oh boy, there's the horsey.
Come ahead, Bree.
Poor horse.
Get over here onto one of these teeth.
Who of you are they doing this on the Sabbath? Jesus said, if your horse gets stuck in a well, wouldn't you pull him out on the Sabbath? Look at that beautiful. They're missing the beautiful day because they're worried about the horse. Nice cloudy day, big sky. Wow, he's moving around. Look at that. Wow. Whites. Are they white?
Get your saddle off here.
Get your saddle off, lady.
Get your hand up this hill.
Is he gonna cuss? Sorry, guys. I'm not sorry. Forgive me. Bear with me. Catch Joel Friday TV coming up next, by the way. Look at all, you hear all that racket, this machine work. Watch your fingers. Jesse was funny today. Say your back hurts. Joe's near demise ranching isn't always romance. Middle of a crisis, Morning nearly lost Joe, a horse. One of our good ranch horses. Thanks to River and Bray, we managed to save him. Pay no mind to the fat guy doing all the yelling. Right. There's a woman. Okay, never mind. I can't hate the women now. Look at the dogs. Just standing there looking. Shout out. So, very cool. Shout out to Facebook. It's not so dead after all, huh? You haters of Facebook. That's me. Okay, let me just double check for any new coffees. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you kindly. I don't mind slavery. The dogs were useless here, indeed. Thank God Joe is okay. So is Pete. Lord Hake, you need to join the military. They're missing the beautiful day because they're worried about the horse. I thought about joining the military, but then I woke up scared of losing limb or life, and I'm like, no, let me not do that. That would be foolhardy. I missed my chance, and I'm happy that I did. So thank you, Elijah, for the supers. Save a horse. And not that degenerate song. I disavow it totally. William in California is on the line here. William, thank you for calling and holding. What's up?
Hey, man. Hey, you see that, what they had to do to get that animal? That's why what you were looking at right there. Remember last winter, I told you I was going to stay a couple of days up there at the farm?
Yeah.
Because if it gets too muddy, that's what you're going to run into.
Wow. That's how it fell in, huh?
It's very hard to get an animal out of the mud like that.
Yeah. He was literally like on his back and his head sticking out of the water.
Yeah.
And it was hard for them to get his head out of the water, it looked like, maybe.
Yep.
Brutal.
That's why you petition your land off when it rains hard, get them a dry spot and, fence it off, electric fence it off where they can't go out there so that other part of the field can dry out.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
And that's what you're trying to avoid when you have animals.
This sort of common sense stuff in dealing with the real physical world and nature and physical issues is lost on the liberals who, including many of the environmentalists, who don't manage the land with regard to the fires down here in L.A.,
Yeah.
Crazy.
There's a lot to it.
Manly common sense.
I do this as a hobby, but like, got nothing to do. I said, go get some cows. But the thing about it is, there's a lot of veterinarian costs. There's you have to watch their hoofs. They have to get pedicure.
Right.
Like, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ranch work.
James.
Yep.
I think Chauvin, the situation with that, I think there was 2 autopsies because you can get one yourself. You can hire your own.
Yeah, and so there was the family or the lawyer, the lawyer, the prosecution's autopsy guy was had an agenda, perhaps. Maybe not the most unbiased. Yeah.
Well, the first one that came out said fentanyl was the coroner.
Oh.
And then I'm thinking that the one that said murder is
Homicide,
more than
yeah.
likely going to be the defense. You know,
The
that's
prosecution.
going to be his team. And I mean, how much did they get for the lawsuit?
I think they got like 60 million. I forget how
Yeah,
much.
because see,
George Floyd's-
that kind of an attorney is going to charge you a lot of money, and I'm sure that family didn't have that kind of money, so that's more than likely the autopsy from the defense, and you know they're stand to get a big paycheck from that. So one of them does say fentanyl.
27
over-
million
overdose.
from the city of Minneapolis.
Yeah,
2021
it's a
settlement
little
with
more
the
than what
city.
his,
It's
a
ridiculous.
little more than what his family had before it happened. So
I would think so. Yeah.
right,
What a mess.
but I don't think that's a murder, and I think I think Chauvin's going to get. I think he's going to get pardoned.
You think he'll be freed though, because he has the
so.
state. He has this. It's not just the feds. You know, Trump can pardon him on the federal charges, but the state wants to put him
He shouldn't have been
in the trash.
Well, he shouldn't have been charged. As soon as it said overdose, he shouldn't have been charged. So that'll tell you that it was a medical witch hunt.
Yep.
Yeah. And,
What do you think of the other charges that that were brought? Supposedly he was facing. I don't know. Never mind.
I've seen a video, man. I don't see anything outside of police regulation of when somebody's resisting.
No, I'm not talking about the case itself. I'm talking about his other stuff that was supposedly against him. I mean, they said that as CJ pointed out, once he was under, unconscious. I don't even know if he would necessarily notice that he was unconscious. Maybe he would. But supposedly he acknowledged that he knew that he had no pulse. I don't think that that's even a fair thing. The feds are not fair.
No, that's fair.
So, but that's what he supposedly confessed to the feds in order to avoid other charges from other things prior in his life. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that it's a
Mark
big mess.
is right. Mark has got a point. If in these days and times, they're not going to hold on to you at any police department with that many excessive forces. You get one or two, I think it's really deadly. So, I mean, you lose your pension and everything over this stuff.
Wow. What a mess.
Yeah. The thing with that was kind of funny, that super chat with Ronnie. But, you've always, I told you about this guy before, he's a sensible black. No, sensible blacks don't sit there and point out stuff that white people did to black people 200 years ago. They just don't do that. Sensible blacks don't do that.
That's true.
I mean, does that sound more like common sense than what Ronnie's talking about?
No, it's he was trolling.
Doesn't that sound more like okay? Just look at Jesse. Does that sound more like common sense? That's how black men, when I grew up, used to act. Just like Jesse.
Yeah.
They didn't go around and cry about that stuff.
That's true. And they didn't fall for people like Obama.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. They didn't fall for that. They used to see that. There was a lot of blacks back in the day. They would see through. What do you call that? They call a hustler, basically. They real good black men used to see that, and they would direct their families in the right direction away from that stuff. They wouldn't go to their churches. They wouldn't join their organizations or even go to any of their meetings. They would just stay, straight and live their own lives as individuals with their own personal beliefs, not a group thing.
Well, thank you, William. I have to rush you off a bit because I have a few calls I want to plow through. So
you go ahead.
Thank you, man.
You go ahead and you take it easy, man. We'll see you for Black Friday.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right.
Bye. And ARDENE in Colorado. How you doing, ARDENE? What's up?
Hi, how you been?
I've been fine.
Doing good.
Yeah.
I was wanting, with the George Floyd thing, it's really disheartening to me that you guys go straight for the fentanyl and not looking at the fact that he was on his body for close to 10 minutes and that stops breathing. That's the problem. Why didn't he perform CPR? Why didn't he do that? You're mandated. You have to do that.
That's
Why
what
was that
CJ
not
told
done?
me.
Yeah, why was that not done? You're supposed to do that.
I don't know how. I don't know because he passed out only in the last. It looked like from the video outside watching that he didn't pass out until like 7 minutes or so, 6 or 7 minutes, if I remember correctly.
It's about 8 minutes, and then you.
Yeah,
I mean,
and then he was in he was on there for another minute or 2 or 3. That's not that bad.
Why?
That's not necessarily that bad.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
Why?
it is.
What's bad about it?
Oxygen. It blocks oxygen to your body. Yes, that's bad.
It doesn't necessarily block complete oxygen to your body. It's just
Yes,
it's just hard to
yes,
breathe.
It does. It blocks oxygen to your body.
Well, okay, yeah. In that, it's harder to breathe. Whose fault is it? George Floyd's?
Somebody was sitting on his body.
And why were they sitting on his body?
To keep him contained, but he was handcuffed.
Right, but that doesn't.
He was on the ground. He was
handcuffs
contained.
alone don't contain a man.
He was contained. He wasn't moving around.
Right, because they had to contain because they contained him because they had to contain him.
They did. Why didn't he pull off of his body?
Because he wanted to stay on his body for a little bit longer to make sure what was going on.
The adrenaline was going. The hate was going. The adrenaline was going right there. Right.
You think
there.
it was? You think it was hate? How do you know it was hate?
Yeah. What else could it be?
It could have been
the adrenaline was shooting.
It could have been just trying to do his job.
To kill a person for passing.
He didn't kill him.
Money?
He didn't kill him.
Whoa. He's dead.
He didn't kill him, and it wasn't for passing money.
It's dead. It's dead.
You're being a dishonest woman.
Okay, wait. Okay. Do you know anybody who takes fentanyl? Do you know them? Do you know people that take fentanyl?
I'm not changing the subject. You're being a dishonest woman.
Okay.
Because he was on him. He was on him because he was out of control. And he was on him like that because he asked. He was in the van and he jumped all the way from one side of the SUV to the other side of the SUV, went down onto the floor asking to be let on the ground. They let him be on the ground, and then they got on top of him because he was so out of control. That's why they were on him. It wasn't because of a fake 20. It wasn't because it was a fake 20.
Why didn't they get off of him?
Maybe they didn't notice because they had all the riffraff yelling at them. But you're assuming it was hate because you're a hateful person.
Whoa, really?
Yes, really?
Whoa, really? That's bad
really?
That you go that route.
That's bad that you go that route. You're calling him hateful. You're hateful.
If his adrenaline is going, haven't you been that angry before in the past where your adrenaline takes over and that's when it becomes very bad, when your anger gets out of control?
Yeah, because your anger is out of control and it's really bad.
Yes, yes.
Your anger is out of control and you're accusing a man of murder who didn't have anything to do with any murder.
The court accused him of murder.
Right, because they're angry, like you, and dishonest, like you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, no, you don't have a God.
Please get education. Please get education.
No,
please.
Your fake education made you dumb.
Well, really? You're that
really?
of a person that you can call names. That.
I didn't call you a name. I called you dumb. That's not a name. That's an adjective.
Okay, you called me an adjective.
Yes.
Why would you want to do that? Why
because
you're
being dumb. You called him an adjective. You called him hateful and murderous.
I called him,
and it wasn't even justified.
It was a hateful act. It was a hateful act. Yeah.
How do you know it was hateful?
Goodbye.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you.
Nice. Unfortunately, Rick in Hampton, Virginia, and Stephen in Maryland, and the rest of the callers, you get priority tomorrow, I guess, right? If you want to call. Derek says the human brain can generally survive without oxygen for about 4 to 6 minutes before permanent damage occurs. Interesting. I got to get out of here. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your heart's no ending song. Bye. Take care. Got to get out of here. Peace.